If you've heard about the ERC Employee Retention Credit, then you might be wondering if you and your business qualifies. So today I'm going to share with you the 3 criteria for who qualifies for this amazing tax credit. And I'll give you a little idea of approximately how much you can expect if you indeed qualify for this tax credit. So stick around, you're not going to want to miss this. So you heard right. The Employee Retention Credit is a stimulus package, part of the stimulus package that many business owners still know very little about. For example, if you were familiar with the self-employed unemployment, maybe you got some of that. PPP, those PPP loans were in the news. Many people were applying for EIDL through the SBA. But almost no one that I've talked to has come across the qualifying questions and what you need to do in order to get the Employee Retention Credit, also known as ERC. So I'm going to break it down for you short and sweet, but before we dive too far in, please smash that like button. It'll help other business owners like yourself see this video, and I really appreciate it. So right off the bat, let me dispel the myth or the rumor that if you got PPP, you can't actually get this ERC tax credit. Originally, yes, there was a rule like that, but the rules have changed multiple times. So yes, you can have gotten PPP and now retroactively go back and apply for ERC. And in fact, in many ways, ERC might even be better than PPP for your business. You see, where PPP kind of had like a maximum amount and there were rules of how much you could use for payroll, and then those rules changed. ERC is essentially $26,000 per employee that you have on the books. We're talking W-2 employees here. So that's right. You might be asking yourself, hey, Rich, are you saying if I have like 5 employees and they all make, I don't know, like 40, 50,000 a year and I qualify for this, you're gonna tell me the government's gonna send me a check for over $100,000? And the answer is yes. And if you have 10 employees, we're talking $250,000 back in your business's pocket. So who qualifies? I mentioned there were 3 criteria. And well, first off, I want to address the revenue reduction. Many business owners have heard that if your numbers were actually higher, we're talking gross revenue here, higher in 2020 or 2021, compared to 2019, like basically during the pandemic, you actually did a little bit better, then you don't qualify for this. And I want to say that is not exactly true. You see, that was the original rules. You had to have this revenue reduction. And I'll flash it on the screen right now. In 2020 compared to 2019, you needed a 50% gross revenue reduction to qualify for ERC. And in 2021, they were a little bit more flexible or lenient. They allowed for only a 20% gross revenue reduction quarter by quarter for the first 3 quarters compared to, again, 2019. So businesses who had a gross revenue reduction, yes, you indeed qualify. However, that is only one of the 3 criteria, that revenue qualifier. So let's move on to number 2, a partial or full suspension qualifier. You see, the government had the authority to shut things down. Maybe your business was impacted fully. You know, you were completely shut down, maybe partially. I'm thinking of car dealerships. I'm thinking of restaurants. I'm thinking of daycare centers. There were times when, you know, nobody was going out. And then again, there were other times where maybe you could kind of like make do in a partial capacity, or you really had to drastically cut things down. You see, with this second qualifier, even if you did better in 2020 and 2021 compared to 2019, if you had a full or partial shutdown because of governmental mandates, then you qualify for ERC. Now, I've partnered with the good folks at the ERC Specialist, and they are currently compiling a full list of state by state federal mandates that said, listen, you got to shut down, you got to reduce capacity, things have to be like this. And when we can point to the fact that your business had to fully or partially shut down, you now qualify. So I'll leave a link down below in the description to some of those qualifying questions. And if you're curious, there are going to be some payroll forms that you're going to need attached to the application itself. But I have vetted these ERC specialists. I meet with them twice a month, and they are the best when it comes to processing this paperwork and getting you in line to get your money from the IRS. And the third qualifier will be something referred to as supply chain disruption. Now, picture this. It is March of 2020. The government is passing all these stimulus packages. Things are closing down, and the IRS gets handed something called ERC, and they need to figure it out. And let's be honest, they really didn't have time to figure it out. And in one of the stipulations to qualify for the ERC, they said that your business would need to be nominally, more than nominally, impacted by something like a supply chain shutdown. But at the time of the passing of that law and legislation, the IRS didn't even define what nominal meant. So if your business was up and running, maybe you were an essential business, but you were more than nominally impacted by this supply chain disruption, more than 10%, then you and your business would qualify for ERC. So let me just throw one example your way. Let's say you're like a manufacturer and you have a warehouse. Your manufacturing may have been more than 10% impacted because you couldn't get the supplies you needed. We're not talking about labor here, we're talking about the supply chain. Now, your warehouse could stay open, your sales reps can still take calls, but you can't do business in the same way because of supply chain disruptions. I'll throw another example your way. Let's say you're a landscaper and part of your work is to put in sprinklers and you can't get the sprinkler heads. That's going to be a nominal disruption. Car dealerships, you can't get in new vehicles because you can't get those microchips that are basically in every single vehicle now. That's going to be more of a nominal disruption than you could even possibly imagine. So all in all, if you think you qualify based on supply chain disruption, we're going to work with you, the ERC specialist, to document that your business was indeed impacted more than 10%. So if I had to just sum this up real quick with a couple key takeaways, ERC is available to many business owners. Ones that got shut down during the pandemic, ones that had a revenue reduction, and ones that just, even if you were an essential business that stayed open, ones that got disrupted because of supply chain. And if you've been told from your accountant or from your payroll company that you probably don't qualify, I just want you to take another look. Again, I'll leave a link down below in the description to some qualifying questions. Feel free to fill them in, but please be very honest with your numbers. You're going to need some payroll reports. You're going to need like a detailed payroll report, some 941s, and your payroll company, I use Gusto, maybe you use Paychex or ADP. They'll be able to provide those for you. Also, I am willing to hop on a call with you. Feel free to get in touch. I'll leave that link again down below in the description, along with a link to the ERC specialist. All right, if you haven't already, please smash that like button. It's going to help get the word out for this video. And please hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. Oh, hey, and one more thing. I'm very excited to announce a new personal mentorship group that we've just started. It's called Millionaire Movement. It is on the ground level right now. There are a handful of people that have joined, and I would just want to extend the invitation to you. If you're curious, and want to meet some like-minded business owners, some entrepreneurs, future millionaires, current millionaires, then again, check out the link down below to that. All right, as always, I'm Rich, and until next time.